Orange County morning. We are so glad that you are with us. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Fullerton, California, an inclusive community dedicated to building a better world. I'm Reverend Robert Blair. Whoever you are, however you identify, whether you join us in person or online, you are welcome here. UUCF acknowledges that this land is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman, Kizh, and Tongva peoples. May we have the wisdom and the humility and courage to help restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with indigenous communities and the earth. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to announcements today. We should have like an announcements jingle every time we do this because we've got a lot going on. The program known as Hot Meals is restarting. Huge news. Congratulations to all that have been working hard on this. Is Barry in here? Barry, thank you for all of your hard work on this, along with First Christian Fullerton and the PSWR. All of us together are doing one of the most basic things that we can do, but the strongest thing that we can do, and that's feed people, right? Don't know why it took so long, but we got it done, and we are going to start feeding people beginning Wednesday, May 7th. And on the first Wednesday of each month, we will prepare a nutritious meal in the fellowship hall and serve it to anyone who attends. We will need volunteers. Read more about it in the online newsletter, or you can speak to Barry, who is here today. UUCF is partnering with FCCF on a new community garden at Terrace Chance in Fullerton, growing food to support the St. Andrew's Soup Kitchen. As part of Love Fullerton on Saturday, April 26th, we encourage you to sign up for work on this particular project. There are only 8 spots left. You can register at lovefullerton.org. On Sunday, April 27th, 4 p.m., we invite you for an afternoon of music and self-care. This workshop is designed to help you learn about the healing art of music and led by music therapist and good friend of mine, Tim Ringgold from First Christian in Orange. He is coming here and welcoming FCCF and UUCF to be part of this amazing journey, and you won't want to miss this, especially in these days. Today, we are featuring our own Christine Arioka and her partner, Josh Jerome. I'm sorry about mispronouncing your name. They will be presenting pieces from their new album, Wander, a story of 2 travelers, Ikato and Ilto, who journey through life's challenges, growing in friendship and faith. And now we welcome Rebecca Duell Gallegos to tell us more about our Pledge Drive campaign. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Rebecca Duell Gallegos, and along with my husband Ramon, I am the public representative of this year's Stewardship Drive, which mostly means I am the person who will be updating you every Sunday this month on our Pledge Drive status. So there's a lot to cover for today's kickoff, so please hang in there. I'd also like to introduce the other 2 and arguably more important members of the stewardship team. So Leslie Mahaffey and Kathy Frickard, will you please stand up? No Leslie's here. Oh, there's Kathy. Awesome. Thank you. Leslie. Thanks, son. Leslie and Kathy have worked really hard behind the scenes to prepare for the drive, and they will continue to work throughout this month to answer any questions ensure that you all have the information you need to make your pledges, and that those pledges get recorded so that we can see our progress and reach our goals. Now, before we get to the logistical details, I did want to tell a little story. 8 years ago, I was on the other side of this UUCF lectern and listening to Laurel Estrada kick off the pledge drive. And I remember Laurel talking about how stewardship was not something she ever thought she'd enjoy, how she never expected to find standing up there asking the congregation for money to be so fulfilling. But in fact, she really liked it. And I thought from my comfortable seat in the pews, well, that's lovely for Laurel, but no matter what I do for this church going forward, I promise that will never be me. So, never say never, friends, but also be careful what you agree to on 2 hours sleep. In all seriousness, I am happy and honored to be up here because my family and I have found so much value in this congregation over the past 8 years that it's really important to us that we help ensure its future. I think many of us feel that way, which is why this year's stewardship theme is a simple one: our community, our future. For those who may be new to the congregation or who may be just visiting for the first time today, our annual pledge drive is how we as a church ensure that we have a financial commitment for the upcoming year that leadership can depend on to keep the church running and to plan the programs and activities that our community wants and needs. These monetary pledges, which come directly from all of us in the congregation, make up the vast majority of the church income. It is literally how we keep the lights on and the sermons flowing. But we don't want to just get up here and beg you to, pay up or else. We want you to pledge because this community means something to you, and because its future means something to all of us here, and even to the broader community we're all a part of. So, to help encourage and inspire you, and so that we on the Pledge Committee, the board, and in leadership here at the church can also have a chance to hear you and to listen to your thoughts and concerns, we're offering a more personal approach to the Pledge Drive this year in the form of a visiting stewardship program. What this means is that volunteers from this community, visiting stewards, may be contacting you and asking you to meet them for a personal conversation about your relationship to UUCF and your hopes for the church's future. During these visits, you'll be getting a paper pledge packet, looks like this, with all the pertinent information about the whys and hows of pledging. You'll be able to voice your ideas and feelings about our faith community and what you'd like to see going forward. And you'll get a pledge envelope to fill out so that you can tick that off your to-do list and go on with your day. So that it's not a mystery who might be contacting you, I'd like to ask all of our volunteer visiting stewards who are present today to please stand up. If you went to that training last week, if you volunteered, if you have a list of people to contact. So I'm not going to name names, but we thank you all in advance for your help with this. And I think there's a lot more than who are here today, so. Now, we may not have time for visiting stewards to meet with everyone in the congregation this next month, but we do hope that if you are asked, you will welcome the opportunity to further your connection to other congregants and make time for this conversation. If you don't welcome it, we request that you please decline politely, as these are volunteers and they are people that you will still have to see at church every Sunday. If you don't have a chance to meet with a visiting steward, or if you, like me, are deeply introverted and can't imagine giving up your alone time with your cats and your coffee and your books, please don't worry, we will still have all the usual pledging materials available through the UUCF website, and you can make your pledge through the portal provided there. That will most likely be up and running by the middle of April, and we will keep you posted. There will also be paper packets available on request. We will also be keeping you posted about our progress throughout the month, and in that vein, I would like to invite my little helper to come up and show you this year's Pledge Drive thermometer. Awesome. So for those of us who like visuals, this is a good way for us to keep track of how close we are to our goals, which this year will be to raise $200,000. Again, this represents the vast majority of what we'll need as church income for the 2025-26 fiscal year. And we already have a little bit of red on there because we already have some pre-pledges. So thanks very much to all you Virgos out there. And finally, because we have every confidence in this congregation and our ability to meet our goals, we are already planning our celebratory post-pledge drive gathering. Please mark your calendars for our fellowship dinner on May 3rd, where we'll be giving our final updates and enjoying what it means to be in community together, this time with food. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great pledge drive.
Thank you, Rebecca. We'll be sharing joys and sorrows a little bit later on in the service, so if you are in the sanctuary and you'd like to share, the slips are located in the back of the sanctuary, in the back table. And you can fill those out. They are pink. You can't miss them. Up to the end of time for all ages, if you have them done by then. If you are joining us online, I invite you to post your joy or sorrow in the comments section, as well as saying hello. And now, those of you in the sanctuary are welcome to take a moment to greet one another. 1 to 2 minutes, please.
Good morning, everybody. We're so excited to play some music for you today. For our opening hymn, we'll be singing hymn number 395, Sing and Rejoice, as a round.
This is a not functioning microphone. Thank you. This is a lovely little round, and we'd like to sing it a few times with you just to get that running in your head, and then we'll come out and see if we can make that come to life as a round. Sing and rejoice. Joy is the Soul Matters theme for the month. Different groups are talking about it, different groups are writing about it, and let's sing and rejoice. Here's what it sounds like. Sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and we one more time, sing and rejoice, let all things living now sing and rejoice. So now we're going to leave our comfortable place up behind the piano and the lectern and come down into the crowd to see if we can bring this to life with the help of our amazing Christine Arolka. We're going to take it into two parts now. So Christine, why don't you go ahead and get it started, and then we'll come in after her.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice,
sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice.
Now it's time for our chalice lighting, honoring our communion, our common community, and our uniqueness by Adam Slate. We gather this morning as one community, a community united by common ideals: love, justice, diversity, freedom, mutual care, equity. Yet look around. Look at the faces of those around you. Each face represents an individual, every one of us with our own story, our needs, strengths, and our faults. We light our chalice today, honoring our common connection and also the uniqueness that lives within each of us. I now invite our worship associate, Patrick Mannion, to light the chalice. Please join with me in saying our unison affirmation. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. Thus do we covenant with one another.
To provide donations of non-perishable food and personal care items to Pathways of Hope, local food bank. As the children come forward, they're asked to collect the donations placed at the end of the rows. The children are now invited to come forward for Time for All Ages.
It's like when you, hello. It's like when you try and take in all the groceries in one trip, I guess. Oh my goodness. A great problem. Thank you everyone for donating so much. Hello, my name is Megan Watson. I'm the teen coordinator here at UUCF. For our Easter service in 2 weeks, we will be doing our canned food hunt. Instead of finding little plastic eggs, we'll be finding canned food that we can then donate to Pathways of Hope. But you will also get candy and goodie bags and things like that. Don't worry, there will still be prizes. But if adults, if you could, in the next 2 Sundays, the 13th and then on Easter Sunday, bring in some canned goods. We'll have a special drop-off for that so that we can have those separate. They will still get donated to Pathways of Hope eventually, but we're going to let the kiddos find them for some fun times first. And now I'm going to pass it off to Joy.
Good morning. I'm Joy. I'm the elementary coordinator. Hi. Well, I'm very glad to see this overflowing bin because, as we know, the Pathways of Hope shelves are very empty, so this will help them out a lot. And it also was very appropriate that Christine was playing the song Bloom because our little story today is about learning from the daffodils. And this is not a daffodil, but you knew that. Well, maybe not everyone, but probably most people knew that. Because I didn't do a good job of getting a daffodil, but we procured this from outside. And basically, this is what we can learn from daffodils and other like flowers. So when you look at a daffodil, you might notice some things like the beautiful yellow blossoms, and they're a symbol of spring, and they're just so bright and sunny, but almost no one notices the not a lizard, a little withered brown bit at the base of the flower. But it's really important, it's there for a purpose. Because when daffodils come up out of the ground, it's still pretty hard and cold, and sometimes there's snow even, not here, but other places. So at first, the daffodils have a tough green skin protecting the blossoms because we want those to stay beautiful. And after it gets warmer and the bloom opens up, it doesn't need that protection anymore. So that part shrivels up and dies. And often in our lives, just as for the daffodil, some part of us has to shrivel up and die so a new part of us can grow and give beauty to the world. Oddly enough, though, the dead, shriveled part of the flower doesn't fall away, it stays connected. So here are a couple of things that we can take away from observing the daffodil. We can be brave and wise enough when the right time comes to push out from under the tough skins of our souls that protect us from all that is hard and harsh, that can damage the more fragile parts of ourselves. We can let some parts of ourselves die so that new parts of ourselves can live in beauty. And we can hold on to the shriveled up dead bits, especially if doing so helps us remember to honor and value all parts of ourselves, all parts of our existence and experience. Just because we don't need that part anymore, or that way of being in the world, it doesn't mean that that part has no value. It was very necessary to have that protection then, and a very good reminder to appreciate it now. So that's what you can think of when you see all the spring blooms and flowers, and maybe some daffodils at Trader Joe's. And another thing I want to add, so today, the kids, we're going to be talking about the democratic process. And so we're going to be doing some voting in our classroom. And then afterwards, I'm going to bring our voting sheets into the Chapman Lounge or somewhere, the narthex. So if you guys want to add your vote, and then we can see some of the majority opinions of our congregation here. So if you'd like to add that, look for it after service. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello again. Pretty sure you're all going to be sick of me by the end of this month, but bear with me for now. For this pledge season, we've been asking those who are giving testimonials not what brought them to the church or why they started pledging, but what keeps them here and why they keep pledging. For my husband and I, it's pretty simple. We pledge because the value this community has given to us is worth the cost it takes to keep it running and even to help it grow. When we started coming to UUCF, my daughters were 6 and 3. Livia had not yet grown into her awkward teen phase and would still say hello to some of you. And Jessie was greeting everyone with cat noises. They were welcomed into the RE program with open arms, and Ramon and I had a blissful hour to ourselves each week to focus on our own spiritual growth and understanding. We also had a place to go where we could be sad and enraged after the 2016 election, when the progressive values that he and I share with so many in this community came under attack. The world has not gotten less complicated since then. In the time my family has been at UUCF, the church has grown, weathered a pandemic, moved buildings, shrunk in size, lost and gained music directors, lost and gained other essential staff, and finally said goodbye to the only minister I had ever experienced here at this church. Families came and went, friends came and went. During the pandemic, our family was one of very few that attended Zoom RE classes, and post-pandemic, some families never returned to services. Our family has kept coming, even when we don't always want to. Even when my teen complains about not being able to sleep in, and when my tween wishes she had more time to play Roblox, we have kept coming. And we have kept pledging. And the answer to the question why, I can only repeat. We pledge because the value this community has given to us is worth the cost it takes to keep it running and to help it grow. Hillary Key, who deeply valued the Children's RE program as part of her family's church experience, once equated pledging with paying for classes for her kids, a music or art lesson, a sports program. Her testimonial really helped me put my own family's pledging into context. The value my kids get from RE is similar to the value they would get from a private class or a summer day camp. Pledging to the church is no different than paying for the other enrichment activities in my kids' lives. But I'd like to extend that analogy further, because I don't only come to church for my children. I mostly come to church for me. I come to church because it enriches my life too. How do I put a value on that? What is the value in a well-delivered, thoughtful, and motivating spiritual message? I've purchased books and even tickets to talks by other spiritual leaders. Here, I get to come be inspired every Sunday, no ticket necessary. What is the value in a small group gathering where I can share my personal thoughts and feelings in community with others doing the same? It's not therapy, but it is connection. And connection to other humans is its own type of healing. What is the value in sitting down to supper with good friends, or those who aren't yet but could become good friends, of coffee and conversation, of a meal train for someone in need, of a peaceful wilderness retreat, of absolutely beautiful jazz music? What is the value in having an on-ramp to social action, a way to show up and provide service to the wider world? Much of what our church offers comes from the dedicated work everyone in this community gives back with their time and talent. But we cannot sustain UUCF, we cannot have a gathering place, a minister, religious exploration teachers, a Sunday pianist without donating our treasure as well. The past few years have proven that this church, this congregation, is not any one person or leader. It is a community that sustains itself even as we welcome in those still searching. Now we have the opportunity to do more than sustain. We have the chance to grow, the chance to help this community offer even more to each other and to the outside world, which will desperately need it going forward. I pledge because the value this community has given to me is worth the cost it takes to keep it running and to help it grow. I hope this stewardship season you will join me in reflecting on what you value here at UUCF, in sharing your hopes for its future, and in donating to make our community even stronger. Thank you. I love you all.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for your vulnerability and some great reasons to pledge this pledge season. Those joining us online are invited to share now joys or sorrows in the comments section. And Patrick is going to light a candle for those sharing online, and those in the sanctuary will be invited to come forward to light your own candle. Mary Botts has a sorrow. My friend who I have met for breakfast with once a month for 40 years is moving up north. That is worth a flame. Mary also has this to share. Kathy Boone is seeking a new spiritual journey at Tapestry. We wish her the best and will miss her. She is still in the directory and remains a friend of UUCF. She welcomes your contact to stay connected with her UUCF friends. Mary also has a joy. Thank you to all who joined in the hands-off protests yesterday. It was fabulous. Checking on Facebook. Hello to you on Facebook and on Zoom this morning. We begin by lighting a candle for all our concerns for the larger world, our wish for peace and justice, our hopes for the children who will inherit this planet. May this candle represent all these wishes and calls to action that are more than we can articulate in this space. And now let us share the personal joys and sorrows in our lives. As we shared those, we now light one more candle for all those joys, concerns, and sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. And now please join in saying the affirmation together. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
Let us move in to the spirit of meditation now. Reflection, prayer. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath, whatever helps. I am frequently astonished by monarch butterflies. Delicate beyond belief, they fly thousands of miles each year from all parts of the continent to settle in the forests of South America. To my delight, their migratory route takes them along a bridge near my home. A few days ago, I was driving on this bridge during the annual display of fragility and strength. As my car whipped at over 60 miles an hour, the tiny creatures were tossed haphazardly in the winds. Yet I knew there was a continual southern purpose to their struggle. Much as I admired these fragile butterflies, I could not avoid hitting several of them. But while the orange wings smashed into my windshield, I remembered a chilling science fiction story I had once read as a child. A man from the near future travels back in time to the age of dinosaurs to sightsee. Despite the tour guide's warnings, he leaves the path in his excitement. And well in the underbrush, he steps on and kills one tiny fragile butterfly. But when he returns to his own time, the world is horribly different. People are much crueler, and an international fascist government now rules. The death of one butterfly in the distant past changed all of world history. As I traveled the many miles of the bridge during the annual monarch butterfly migration, I wonder if I am wreaking any changes in the world to come. What effect do my words and deeds, both on the bridge and off, make on the environment and in the human world? Surely they do make a difference. Our kindness affects lives we will never see. Our cruelty casts ripples that may drown strangers. Whether smashing butterflies or helping a friend, our actions will echo through history. We will not always know the ramifications of our deeds, but they are there. We are surely connected one to another, and each of us to the greater world of monarchs and mystery. Your Gifts by Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, to bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, offer love. Any of these can draw down a prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world.
Thank you, Patrick. You could do voiceovers for the Calm app. Thank you for that reading. Today is our kickoff to our yearly pledge drive. This year's theme, our community, our future. It also means me being your new minister, I get the privilege to speak to you about money and religion. Not difficult topics to talk about at all. The last few months, I've gotten to learn about you, and you've gotten an opportunity to learn a little bit about me, about the Golden Girls thing, right? I've also been a magician, a hobbyist magician, since I was 5 years old, and to do the math, that's almost 20 years. Long time. So, do you know the difference between a magician and a savings bond? A savings bond will eventually mature and earn money. Just ask my husband. Well, every magician has a deck of cards. But not often a lot of money. So what do we do there? That's what we do. If it only was that easy. I'm so glad that went well. I told you I'm not very good at it. Unitarian minister and author, Reverend Dr. Barbara Wells, wrote a book on UU growth and evangelism. It is called Salted with Fire, and in an essay from there. The book has an essay called Responsibility and Commitment. Why just signing the book is never enough, she writes. The responsibilities of membership in a Unitarian Universalist church on top of signing the book are, write these down, attend church regularly, work on your spiritual development, serve on a task force, pledge at a stewardship level, be involved in service with others, connect to the wider UU movement. Those are good. Let's build on them a little, though, shall we? Enjoy the church and the people in it by finding ways to socialize with members. Discover your gift and share it with the church, either with the kids or the adults. Learn to work for changes in the church system. And recruit at least one new member a year by inviting friends, family, coworkers, or others to worship with us. Did you know it's about 80% of those who are new to a church environment or new to a congregation are invited by friends and family? As I was doing my research, someone asked this in regards to stewardship. If being a Unitarian Universalist were a crime, would there be enough evidence to convict you? religion and money. And just for fun, let's now throw in politics, shall we? Actually, it's vital that we look at politics right now, more than ever. Not so much politics, but the future of democracy. Christian nationalism, Project 2025, the evangelical church, the MAGA party. Their business model is one based on fear. Give money, and God will forgive your sins. Give money, and you'll avoid hell. Turns out that type of message brings in the money. Just drive by any mega church on a Sunday in Orange County. Our business model is different. It is based on love and justice and equity and interdependence and anti-racism. So we're not putting each other on spiritual guilt trips. In fact, at our best, we should be too busy to do the guilt stuff. It may not bring in the cash flow as quickly, but we choose love because it is the right thing to do, not because it is easy. Right now, Unitarian churches and progressive Christian churches are shrinking. We have a PR problem that is twofold. The first, when people hear the word church or religion, they may get turned off or run away because they've been traumatized before. And secondly, they just don't know how great a place this place is. Now more than ever, we must get out the message that we are a movement of love and action and justice, that we are safe, a safe space for the LGBTQ plus community, that we take steps and work towards being a more anti-racist church. We can always do better. That we are a community of all faiths, built to try and make this world just a little easier, especially for our kiddos. I mean, look what they've done this morning. And the yell out for politics toward the end. For such a time as this, in this historic time, now more than ever, this is a time, an opportunity for growth. People are suffering, lonely, and need a safe space to come. People need to create new relationships and be part of a community that talks the talk and does the work. And the Pledge Drive is the perfect time to think about our visions, our dreams, our master plans, and how much we can invest today so that those dreams and visions happen in the future. Many ministers are really not into talking about money. I am not one of them. And I'll tell you why. Just 8 days ago, I attended the closing ceremony of a church where I pastored for 7 years. A church in South Los Angeles, a progressive church with historic roots and a beacon of light for 80 plus years. The closure sent shockwaves across the congregation and the country. It can't be. What happened? The reality is we didn't do the guilt thing. We did the love thing. But due to our location, we shrank and the money ran out. Churches are getting smaller and churches are closing. Both progressive, Unitarian, it happens. I'm not speaking that over this congregation. Far from it. But I am coming to you with a real life experience and what is happening across the country to progressive communities of faith. A month-long pledge drive may seem like 30 days of begging. In doing some research, I came across an article titled Coming to Peace with Begging by a Franciscan nun, Sister Zielinski, who did a lot of fundraising for many different types of nonprofit agencies. Came to realize that fundraising is a form of begging. Now stay with me. More importantly, begging has a spiritual dimension to it. That to be asked to contribute, to be part of a cause, is to be asked to be in a relationship. An ask is relational. Out of all interpersonal contact, it is probably the sense of being really needed and wanted that gives us the greatest satisfaction and creates the most lasting bond. I'm going to get a drink of water because my mouth is dry. In some Buddhist monasteries, one of the activities is begging for food. The monks do it as a religious discipline. It is a religious act for both the giver and the receiver, a religious symbiotic relationship in the Buddhist culture. The monks do not find it demeaning because it expresses faith in the religious system, and perhaps most importantly, in relation to our situation, it gives people an opportunity to participate and help support the religious institution of the culture. It is a metaphor for a pledge campaign. No, not begging, but the relationship of money and religion, giver and receiver. One must have faith. The Buddhist monk does not worry where his next meal will come from. Doesn't it sound sort of like a Jewish or Christian concept? God will provide. One must have faith, not just in the divine nature, but in human nature. And I think about my grandpa during times of stewardship. He would be more than 100 years old today. A Kentuckian and a farmer and a man of kindness and great faith. I invite you to look at yourself as farmers or gardeners during this time, to do the tilling, to plant the seeds, to prune, to water, to fertilize, and let's translate what that looks like here. Investing money. This is not real, by the way, just so you know. Investing money, investing time, and investing your talents so that we will see those beautiful flowers and ripe fruit. I can really hammer a metaphor this morning. What images can inspire you to continue and even increase your tithes? Well, here's a word that I want you to think about when it comes to community and its future here. And the word is possibility. What would it be like to live in possibility if we believe that all things are possible? How would that change our thinking and our lives here at UUCF? What is possible at UUCF? This is a difficult and dangerous world where we live. What this world does is tells us that we are all separate, alone in this world. But actually, when we look at UUCF, we see that we are connected. As we come to church on Sundays, as we come to church during special events, as we help people, and even more than that, as we come together in love, we know that we are one in the Spirit. So as we look towards possibility, I want you to think about this rainbow, this tied together. As I'm learning the amazing history of UUCF, what we've done and what we can do, these fresh eyes from your new pastor see great opportunity and willingness from you all, really. This year, remember the word possibility, as beautifully written in the pledge letter by the board. Sing on Sunday, fight on Monday, love every day. Their letter says we need to invest in our congregation to ensure that it remains a beacon of hope and action, to be a home for those seeking community, spiritual sustenance, and a space where love, justice, and compassion thrive. Today, we begin our journey, and this rainbow rope shows the spirit with which we begin. One in hope, one in spirit, and one in love.
Unitarian Universalism envisions a world filled with peace, justice, love, and joy. This vision depends on each of you. By your financial commitment, you help make the grand vision real and help this congregation maintaining ministries to grow. Basket is being brought around, and you can see payment options on the screen. Whatever you are able to give will be received with gratitude. We thank you for your commitment and generosity.
Thank you so much, everyone. We just want to say a quick thank you to first Christina for bringing this idea to fruition, and to the team and everybody at the church in making this happen, and to you, our congregation, for listening and joining us on our journey. We hope that this music has brought you love, joy, community, connection, and hope and faith, and so much more as it did for us. Thank you again for joining on our journey, and we hope to see you very soon.
And Christine, is there a physical copy of this album yet, or?
It's coming out very, very soon. Probably, let's say May, we're shooting for. So stay tuned.
This is wonderful. And as we're doing our pledge drive, this is part of the value that we we are getting for the money that we put in there. So let's bring it on.
So without further ado,
Please rise in mind, body, or spirit. We'll sing a rousing hymn to get us on our way. One more step, we will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more song, we will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Today, our caring listener is Debbie Laumenbacher. You can speak with her after the service if you have any concerns or would just like someone to talk to. Remember, anything you share is confidential.
And now let us join hands around this sanctuary. Although the flame of the chalice did not make it through the entire service, the flame exists in our hearts. And we do not extinguish a light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go. And we say together, Amen, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. Peace.